one of the things that I don't know how you change it because it's with anything. Whether you go to Korea for a year or whether you deploy downrange to a combat zone, your life ends in the States for that time frame.
For sure.
Their lives go on.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do. You can't pick up where it left off. They're already past that.
Yeah.
Right. And it's very tough. And I don't think a lot of people understand how bad that is.
Yeah.
And it's sad because, there's stuff out there I think people are afraid of to go talk about. But I think if more people talked to counselors and stuff like that, I think they'd be a lot better off. But, because I thought about it. I thought about it when I was in Korea for a year. I was like, yeah, I was there for 6 months, but my life is here now for a year. Everything else is going on.
Yeah.
When I deployed to Afghanistan, even though I was there a short period of time, life moved on.
Right.
Yeah. Your life is there. It's not back in the States. You can't be a part of anything going on back there.
Like, it's one thing to try to maybe keep informed, but if you try to like have any kind of input or control over what's going on in the States when you're deployed, I mean, that's horror. That's a bad situation.
What you gonna do? Shake your finger at him?
I know. It's like,
don't make me what? What are you gonna do?
Well, it's almost insulting to your wife, because then they're like, because she's like, I got this. Don't. You're over there. You're not here. I'm doing it the way I need to do it for now. So
yeah, just let us know you're. Just keep us. Let us know you're okay.
Right.
Because back when I went in 2002, you could only get so much airtime.
Mm-hmm.
If you could even. I mean, I don't even think there was. I mean, you had to make phone calls back. You had to make phone patches back. Through the field phone. Yeah. And you could only be on there for so long. There was no real internet. You had to write, write a letter. Internet hadn't really developed to where it was. Go forward 2009, 2010, when I'm, at in Kandahar, or not Kandahar, but Ali Salim, and then Balad, and then Camp Liberty, where you had your own internet right there.
Right.
And you could do your own thing. But
well, let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about Afghanistan. Let me hear about your deployment. Like, because I mean, I saw that YouTube video of that. What was it called?
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Profiles from the front line. Yeah, that kind of that was something. So there we had an Advon team over there, and then the rest of us showed up. George Kyer, myself, Huss, Pavlich. Myself and Rockel were put together. Devin Rockel as a team. And we're on Kandahar. Well, the 101st, all the 101st TACPs are already gone back. Well, the 101st is going out on one more mission, and they need TACPs. So so a group of us go up there. We're all going to support one of the battalions and one of the companies. So we're waiting to get on board, and there's a civilian guy there, and I'm like, "What do you do?" He goes, "Oh, I'm with such and such productions. We were doing this show called Profiles from the Front Line, where we follow people around." And and I think it was the Scott brothers, I think, that were ahead of it all, and they just had carte blanche to follow anybody. They were with SEALs, SF, all these people, but they had to send all of the footage back to this DOD and State Department to get what they could approve, or if they had to black somebody's eyes out or black out rank. They could only but they were there, along with it. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. He goes, well, what do you guys do? I said, well, we're technical air control party members. We're here with the 82nd, blah, blah, blah. We're going up to support the 101st on their last mission. And, so we all get on the plane. He flies up, we fly up, nothing else. We're doing our thing. And I run into him at the BX or the PX. And he's like, hey, I'm glad I ran into you. I'm like, yeah, what's up? He goes, we want to follow you around. And I'm like, well, and he goes, we're going out on 101st mission. We want to follow you around. I was like, well, we're going here, Alpha Company's coming here, but Charlie Company's going here. And I was like, these guys are going up here, so you may want to go there. He goes, no, we want to follow you. Okay. So now
you must have made an impression.
It's me and Rocco, and now they're putting a boom mic guy, sound guy with me, and another guy that's, asking me what's going on, and I'm having to explain stuff to him. And that's where, we get there. And what's funny is, we go to the go, no go briefing. I get introduced to Alpha Company. And They're like, Air Force, you got anything to add? And that's when I went, yeah, if I'm shooting, we're wrong. And they all looked at me. I said, my job is to control the airplanes and drop bombs and destroy a lot of stuff and kill and blow shit up and kill people.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to shoot with you. But if we let them get to that point where I'm shooting, we let them get too close.
Right.
So you tell me where they're coming from and how many there are, and I'll get some airplanes to knock the shit out of them. And then whatever's left over, we'll all just take a shit out of them. And at the end of the day, we'll all take credit for everything.
Sure, sure.
And they're all like, that's what, oh, So, because I was like, because they were like, we're going in light, because we're just going to be running around, taking CH-47s in here, there, drop it down, checking this out. But I said, well, I got to carry radios. Well, so that's where we met Angel 69, and it was a reporter that was embedded with them that wrote for the Christian Science Monitor and Hustler magazine.
Both?
Yeah, he wrote for both magazines, and I was just laughing. I'm like, dude, I said, yeah, that's what I call me, Angel 69. And matter of fact, what's crazy is as I'm working for Harris and I'm in Vilsec, and I run into the old first sergeant of Alpha Company. He goes, hey, remember Angel 69? Yeah, I talk to him still all the time, And it was pretty funny because I mean that was now we're like talking 2009, 2008, 2009 timeframe.
Yeah.
I'm in Germany, 2007. But so we're out. Myself and Rocco, we got, camera guy, boom operator guy. They're in body armor, but we're highlighted. And I'm not saying anything, but I'm like worried for Devin and these two guys because not only are the colors on our uniform blue compared to everybody else with black on theirs in the Army, but I'm Hollywood.
Yeah.
I got a camera dude, So I'm
that dude's target. Yeah.
That dude's important. But man, so what's funny is we were going into this one village and I talked to some guys later. They had earmarked the same targets I had earmarked. But we were talking to the kids down at the bottom, and they all got American dollars, and no Americans have been in this area. Sure stuff, the SF team didn't hand them American dollars.
Right.
They were like somebody coming across the border was handing them U.S. bucks and everything else. So we were like passing out pens, and this is how people don't realize, and especially in Afghanistan, how I don't want to say prehistoric, Neanderthalish that they are in some of these places, but we were giving pens and little stuff out to the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger kids were willing to take a rock and smashing these kids in the head for a plain old Bic pen.
Yeah.
To take it from them. We're like, what are you crazy?
It's crazy.
So, I hadn't taken a dump in like 5 or 6 days. So now we're up.
Go ahead. I was reading about this one.
So, dude, we're like up on, so the brigade, like the brigade commander's up on top of the hill.
Yeah.
Alpha's going, we're like overlooking. We're around a town. Alpha or Charlie and Bravo are still making their way to this town, and helicopter comes in, Black Hawk comes in, drops some stuff off. They're gone. I'm like, is the Black Hawk coming back now? It's probably gone. So now I mix up the grape Kool-Aid in my water bottle, and I'm just sitting there. All of a sudden, I'm like, dude, I gotta take shit, and I'm like trying to figure out where I'm going to go because I gotta go. I'm just literally. It's either I'm going to be walking around with a third leg, or I got to find a place. So I beat feet off of the edge of the LZ portion, and then there's some Afghan farmer's house down here. I know that the brigade commander and the captain are up on top of the hill, so I'm trying to be out of their sight.
Sure.
And I literally, dude, I couldn't. I had to get out of a pant leg because I gotta go, and like so now I'm squatting down, and my helmet's off, and all of a sudden, I'm like, oh shit! Black Hawk comes in and lands. I've got my head down, and I'm like, I kind of like glance up, and I'm looking right at the co-pilot, and he's looking at me, and So I'm like, I didn't want to show my ass to the farmer because I didn't want to get him excited, and I sure as hell didn't want them to see me up top of the hill. But I can't move now because the helicopter's here. And as soon as they took off, sure as shit, roll right over top of me, just blew dust all over me and everything else. But needless to say, I swear to you,
Oh,
that turd looked like a loaf of bread
oh my God.
because I
Jesus.
planted rocks around it. The only thing it was missing was an American flag to basically salute it and give it its last rites because I didn't realize you could. Dude, I gave birth out my ass. That's how big this thing was. It was about as big as, if not bigger than the burrito I had the other night down at Cocoa Beach. It was that huge. And, so I went back over,
Oh,
controlled a couple
now you're good to
F-18s.
go.
I'm good, man. I'm ready to run some miles, right? So, we had a little bit of a dust up because they found some guy that was supporting one of the like a terrorist group or something, but he was mentally retarded, and they're like, "Oh, but he's mentally retarded and everything." We're like, no, that's the guys they just strap stuff onto and blow them up,
Right.
So then so they were getting him out, and that's what they were coming back up to say. They got him on board and they were flying out because It was funny because we got a dude hurt when we landed, hurt his knee, but the hockey helmet wearing dudes they were listening in, and on the chatter, they were already across the mountains. Like I forget how many miles they said that, we had lost a man as we landed the first time, and I guess they signal mirror each other. They know Morse code with signal mirrors and stuff. All the goat herders. So when we were up on top of the hills, we had dudes, in flex cuffs and being questioned by, we had a CW10 or something. The dude was like, was out when he was running around out there when the Soviets were in there, and now he's back out there with an interpreter, questioning these dudes. I think we ended up letting them go or moved them down, but it was like one of those things where they were, with signal mirrors, so they knew they were like talking to one another.
Yeah.
Across the mountain ranges. But yeah, dude, that was that was the biggest turd. But that's when I also we ended up all going into this village, and we're all hanging out, waiting to exfil out and go to his other village.
Yeah.
And that we got the word that they would have attacked us if we weren't such a large force.
Really?
And but yeah, that's what they said to us. And we had grabbed some dude that had a whole bunch of like, a cache of like not much weapons as much as he had like money and different pamphlets and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And we had him out, but we also had all his women and his little harem off to the side, and they were all like boo-hooing and everything else. And we were questioning this guy, and I'm looking at all the other villagers, man, woman, and child. And I'm honestly, I'm glad I only did one tour over there, one quick tour over there, because when you look in the face of people that hate you and don't, and I mean, literally, this is what the crazy thing is. When we were walking in this town, the cameraman's walking backwards, and it was a little walkway, and it's a little walkway, and there's all these little like windows that you can't see out of. You can't see in them because they're black.
Yeah.
And and there's all these little wooden doors, and I'm walking, and I got the boom operator, and he's back, and so, Gary, what's going on? I said, well, you're pretty much lit a target on us because we're walking, and it was narrow, and also I'll admit, I was sweating.
Oh yeah.
I was sweating because I was afraid that, they got there, they won't see it coming, because if somebody just decided to light us up out of that hole that was down low, there was nothing we could do about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you guys are painting a target on us because you're making us stand out.
Yeah.
But I'll let you know if something comes. And then that's and that was after we had already controlled the flyby with the F-18s, and they popped flares and everything, because and this is how I knew it was crazy over there. We're doing a show of force, and I hear them talking all the way back over SATCOM, getting the okay practically back to Qatar, wherever, like Djibouti, wherever the headquarters was. Like, yeah, we got to, they're starting to mill up around these guys, and we just want to do a quick pass and pop some flares. It's like, before I could give them approval, on the ground saying cleared, cleared hot to pop over top of them. They had to get approval from 10 levels back. And I'm thinking, how, and the guy that we were looking for, some dude that I guess blew some fingers off making bombs or something, because all of the elements wanted credit for finding this dude
Yeah.
between the SF team and the 101st. And I don't think as much as the 101st as was the SF dudes or whoever the special hockey helmet guys were.
All right.
The dude went out the back door, snuck out.
You
Because
never
while
got
we
him.
were all sitting deciding, like, we're going to do paper, rock, scissors for who's going to take credit. The guy was gone. But literally, I'm looking at these people, and honestly, man, I feel for anybody who was in that situation, or would be in it, because I wouldn't want to be in that situation, because I'm glad I was, because I had orders on my desk. They tried to stop me from going. They said, hey, you don't have to go if you don't want to, because your orders are here to retire. I went, no, because I think it was Jimmy Seabrooks was the guy that would get screwed.
Yeah.
We were like 3 weeks. We had been already out processing like 6 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy would have had 3 weeks to catch up to everything, and Jimmy had a family.
Yeah.
And granted, I know he would have went, but I couldn't live with myself if I went.
Of course not.
Okay,
No, yeah.
I'm not going to go, and I'm going to screw this guy who has a family over, because he's going to get chances to go. I know he's going to get chances to go, but I did. In that moment, I'm like, no, I've been waiting 20 years to do this. I'm going.
I was going to say that's another thing that, like, we all kind of trained up for that moment. Little did we know it was going to last for 20 years, but
Yeah.
you see all these guys going to Grenada, you see them going to Panama. We had Chris Huneke in Somalia. And you're like, man, when's it going to be my time? And then, so you're not going to pass up that opportunity. Whatever that means, it doesn't mean anything other than you train for a certain amount of time. You want to execute that mission. You want to go serve your country for real.
You literally, so over there, we went out on myself and the MPs were going out and doing like friendly, like hand out stuff to the kids, mints and all this other stuff. I forget what they called them, but we went out to this one village. I was behind the driver. We stopped to pick up the interpreter at his house. Turns out the interpreter had a crush on the staff sergeant, DC, MP. And so we drive out. On the way back, a guy goes, hey, you want to go by Osama bin Laden's old training camp, the one you see in all the footage? And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. So we go by it. Okay, pretty cool. I'm taking pictures, and they're explaining all the all the painted rocks are, because there's landmines and all this other stuff going out. Like, oh, okay, yeah. Well, later that night, and it was myself and Mellon, and we were there to just give like HF if we need to get HF back to the base, because over the mountain ranges, UHF or FM wasn't going to make it,
Mm-hmm.
So same guys go back and say, we're coming back tonight. I'm like, I don't think we'll be able to make tonight. Well, the interpreter sat behind the TC, like where I was, and on their way back on the same road, they said they ran over an old Soviet tank mine, anti-personnel mine or something like that. But it blew the interpreter out of the back seat and out of the vehicle.
Way.
He was shaken up. The vehicle was all mangled up. Nobody really got hurt because it was an old mine, but I guess they were a little bit too far over and caught, a little bit of it.
Oh,
and that's what caused
it. It wasn't like a direct hit right underneath.
No, it was, and it might have even been delayed or something. Who knows? Who knows if somebody may have put something out there? I don't know.
Sure.
All I know is they said it was an old mine. So I got to thinking, man, when I was out there, I had the window down, my arm in the window, and it was an up armored vehicle, Humvee. What would I've lost my arm? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. But they hear that happens. You guys aren't going out on any more MP missions. It's like, really? So
it's like you're in a combat zone. What do you expect?
Worried about somebody getting hurt and having to call back.